Hey, and welcome to the Republic Forum. I'm Jeff, and you guess who's back?
I like that song. Nice
You
nice
did,
way to get back in. Welcome back.
Absolutely.
You didn't say Cotter. Did you cut it off and it's just Tom?
Right. It's just Tom. So, hey, listen, glad to have you back. I know Florida.
I'm
not. I know Florida was happy to get rid of you.
Well, like I said before I left, I got a phone call from Trump's people.
Yep.
They needed to have somebody come down with common sense.
Oh.
They try to help them out a little bit, but it was only on the golf course.
It was only on the golf course, and he probably beat you. I hear he's
I didn't see him at all. There was nobody rolling and tolling around. I didn't see that at all.
Yep.
Most of us were pretty fit throwing that golf ball out of the trees.
You're throwing a golf ball out of the trees. Anyway, well, that's good. I'm glad you had a good time. It was really nice up here. You missed all the good weather up here?
Yeah, no.
I'm
sure you had the same thing, 80s in the 80s every day.
No, it hasn't been in the 80s, but...
I was swimming at 7 o'clock at night, and it was still light out down there.
Yeah, but that's a heated pool.
No, not that. It didn't need to be heated, let me tell you that.
It didn't need to be heated? Okay.
No.
Right.
There was, down in Tampa Bay, down to Fort Myers, there's a damage in that area. Down where Naples was, where I was, it's more of wind damage and the surf coming in.
Okay.
That's where the damage was down there, but pretty much everything was pretty okay down there, golfing on Saturday. So they were lucky.
Right?
They were lucky down there.
Yes,
on
they
that
were.
side of it. So, but interesting because I would talk politics with anybody down there.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the people, even though some of them, which blows my mind, they're still voting for Trump. I was really
listen,
this time
there's
versus
not a whole lot of mine there to blow.
Yeah, well, the first 4 years ago when we were down there, It was all pro this of Trump. This time, there's not a lot of signs, but people are, I understand because of the politics down there. They're more of voting for him, but they're not happy about him.
Well, no,
that's what the difference was this time with me, with people down there. They're not happy with him. They're not happy with either one that are running.
That's true. And it's been that. I'm going to follow your theme here. It's been that way for quite a few elections where we're trying to pick the lesser of two evils. And, even myself, I'm a Trump supporter. I'll vote for him, but he does things that make me cringe and things like that. I look at it as far as policies. He can be a real idiot at times with things that he says, but, the policies have been good for us. I mean, next year is when the tax cuts expire. We don't want that to happen.
Well, the one thing, Jeff, that some of them did say down there about their policies, stocks, stuff like that, they did okay with.
Yep.
But the idea that he saved jobs, even people down in Florida realized that some of the things that he did actually killed jobs in America. There's a lot of business people that I know down there, a lot of people with money in that area. And it was really something to hear them this time. There's no way, don't get me wrong, that they're going to vote for a Democrat.
No.
They're lined up where they are. But again, like they said, that they're not happy with what he's doing. They did not think he did well at all against a debate with her. And, they wish that there was another one. But, I would say I would be very interested to see what they were talking about this morning, to see how she did with them on Fox yesterday.
Oh, geez.
Because I watched, the retape of it.
Yep.
And look, there's some questions that I think that she should have answered, like the border a little bit better.
Oh, absolutely.
But I thought she handled herself pretty good against.
Boy.
She knew she was coming in. It's like Trump coming in to CNN, right? You're going to get hammered with a certain way because of it. I thought she handled herself that way, and I think the only plus of it is people that are on the borderline of who they're going to vote for.
I don't think she did them any favors.
Is not going to. I don't think she lost any of them.
Oh, I do.
Honest
I think her uncommittal and her back and forth between what she's done previously as being a VP and now what she's saying and trying to distance herself is a shame.
Yeah,
people don't know whether she's left or she's going left or right.
Even some other people that are on certain stations that are Republicans have said yesterday that she should have answered the question on the border, but she did pretty good on handling herself.
I think she should answer any question she's given. All right, caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, gentlemen.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing today?
Good.
Great.
I want to talk about something else different about town politics.
Sure.
About this Fair Rent Commission.
Okay.
I happened to be on Facebook today, and they said they came up with the people, and everybody's been assigned.
Just as you're
And it-
talking, what part of Facebook? So I might pull it up while you're talking.
Well, okay, bear with me.
Is it on Willimantic today?
Willimantic today. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
And it said broad powers. So, I mean, it's kind of pretty big. Broad powers could mean anything, or it could mean
Yes.
nothing.
True.
So it just it blows my mind, that when you buy an investment property, and I repeat, investment. So when you make an investment, it's to get some return on your money.
Correct.
And I don't know what's going to come of this Fair Rent Commission, but I mean, it would be absurd for someone to tell you how much you could and couldn't charge for your investment or your property.
Well, you got to remember, this is a Democratic-led town, Democrat, on, and they do like telling you what to do.
Well, I'm not going to bring political sides into it, Democrat
well,
or
I will,
Republican,
because
but
those are the
as a
people that are making the
businessman,
decisions.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
but
Jeff,
when
you have rental property, so
I
you
used
must
to.
know something about what he's talking about.
Oh, I do. I
Okay,
understand
so
what they're
instead of the
talking about.
politic end, what does it mean? What they're trying to
Well,
do?
what they're going to do is they're going to come up with what, much like New York, what they feel is the fair rent for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom, and they will
found it.
break it down most likely on utilities, non-utilities, on and on. They'll look at the average mean income for people, renters, and things like that. They'll set limits on how much you can change the rent year per year. Right now, I think you're not supposed to go up, and I don't know if it's a hard law or it's just kind of what's the word? I can't think of the word I want to use, but it's around 11% every year, So what they're going to do is try and tell you that. So, I look at that as, okay, you want to do that. So what we do is we write a year's lease. The other thing, too, is, they might change rules and laws about your leases where you can't cancel a lease. If you have a 1-year lease with somebody and the lease is up, and you want to move them on because, let's just say, they're paying $1,000 and you want to get $1,200, and they won't let you make that increase. They won't let you evict that person to go after somebody that will pay, the extra $200 a month, which adds up at the end of the year. I mean, we're not in high finance, but for low-income people, an extra $200 a month does add up.
now, don't get me wrong, they can try to implement this, but at the end of the day, whoever made the investment on the property, their name is on the mortgage or on the deed or whatever, and they have the right to charge whatever they want for their property.
Correct. But, like I said, they might start to control it. I mean, look at the rent controls in New York.
Well, there's one spot on here that I will agree with you because I don't know what it means. It says the commission will have broad powers to deal with landlords or tenant issues.
They're not the courts.
I'm sure that this would be in courts before this is over.
Absolutely.
But again, I mean, there's other towns that have these commissions, right?
There are some, yes.
Okay.
Not a whole lot.
Now, doesn't the state have laws and rules for this?
I know two of these people that are going on. Christopher Grant, who does sell homes, and he's in that type of business. So he does know some of that. Michael Westerfield, I believe, is the one that used to run the
yes, the housing
authority,
Willimantic
right?
Housing, right?
On there. So those two, I'm not too familiar with the other ones on there, but they're still looking for people. But there's Austin, I might say the last name right, Healer, Haler.
I don't know.
And Daniel Billings.
Daniel Billings. No,
And,
not ringing a bell.
Carolina Falez.
Okay. Well, they're with any commission, I hope it's an odd number of people they put on the board.
One landlord, one tenant.
Yep.
3 homeowners, and then 2 alternates,
What are the
one of whom will be a landlord and another tenant.
Yeah, it should be made up of landlords and tenants. But
Why would there be homeowners put on here?
I don't know.
If I don't rent.
Well, they don't want them in their backyard. They might not like, houses being turned into multifamily houses, or people buying single family houses
Well,
and then
to me,
renting
this
them.
shouldn't be about selling. This is fair rent commission. So I don't know why you would have 3 homeowners on it.
Well,
except for maybe having people that aren't in the business to be.
Well, wait a second here. In Willimantic, we have the Music and Arts District. We have, a bunch of districts where you actually get tax breaks and things like that. And, they might want to say, okay, up in the hill section, if you buy a home, much like you do in Florida and some other places, especially with condos, you can only rent it or not rent it. There are associations that say no, so they could shut down single-family home sales to people who are going to be non-occupied owners. That's where I'm going with that.
Well, then homeowners to me is I own a home, not partially renting it, but I own a home.
Well, I own homes
but
too.
If I own homes and I'm renting, then I'm a landlord.
Correct.
And so. What,
Correct, but once again, if it's a single-family home, they have no jurisdiction over a single-family home,
Yeah.
and just because people want to rent it.
I would say you have a right to ask questions and you worry about it because when they put these things together, it says there's going to be a lot of things that are going to have to work through. I think people that either are renters or people that are landlords should be watching this very carefully how this shakes out.
Well, the other thing too is where's the Wyndham Area Landlords Association here? There should be a member from that group. It's still in existence and doing well, discussing events and on, and there should be somebody on that.
Yeah.
To help. What else?
Gentlemen, isn't the landlord and tenant laws already defined by Connecticut state statute?
There are a lot of landlord and tenant laws defined by the state of Connecticut, yes.
So the town, I understand the committee, maybe they have to have the committee, but at the end of the day, if there's already laws written about this,
it doesn't. It doesn't stop the town from trying to implement laws or make regulations that really, a lot of times, aren't legal.
I'm gonna say that this has been going on for a while, but they haven't found anybody for the commission.
Well,
but
I
lately,
offered to be on it.
Lately, I think it's because of what's been going on with the trailer park down in North Wyndham.
Oh,
and the way that
absolutely.
their rents went up before I left. They drastically have gone up in one of those places big time over the last year or so. And I know that they have associations over there of the people that own their mobile homes but rent the land.
Correct.
And I think they've been pushing to have something like this because of the fact of the person that owns this company has been really raising the rates over there big time, where the other trailer park is very, I'm going to say $200-300 less.
Well, that
a month, and I think that's where this is coming from. It doesn't mean it's not for other places, but
right. But that's okay because if you have a new investor, he might come in at a totally new bottom line. I mean, I've owned properties 30 years, 40 years now with mortgages that were at 3%. And things like that. So, what it cost me to run a property is a lot less than somebody coming in today paying 7% and a much higher cost to get in. So they're entitled to make their money. I agree with you. I think it's something that definitely needs to be watched.
Well, an investment, you have to have a return for it to be an investment.
Correct.
I mean, you can't buy something and lose money, then that wouldn't be a wise investment.
Correct.
Broad. What got me is when they say broad powers.
Yep.
Yeah, that would worry me too.
All right.
Well, what? At the end of the day, what power? At the end of the day, it has to be settled in court, like you gentlemen said, and there's already laws for this. So, I mean, implementing it, I don't know how it's going to go. I hope it's all for the good, but
I guess the thing to do is probably look at the towns that have it, because I'm sure that some of the court cases have been settled or questions have been settled, and to see what those towns have for power. And that's where I would say where this place would be at.
Yep. Well,
And maybe for the next show, I'll do some homework and look at that for you.
Well, the other thing too is, my activist is coming out now. The people that are on these boards, if they start to take it to an extreme, I think you need to go to the Landlords Association and you need to sue the individuals for losses.
Well, that's when the background is going to come into effect, where you
absolutely.
have people on a committee. And also, too, you should have somebody there. We're dealing with, these are bank-owned homes at the end of the day.
This is true, and the same with the elected politicians. I think people need to start bringing suits against them when they violate your constitutional rights. And, you do have a constitutional right to buy a piece of property and try and make a profit. They do not have a constitutional right to come in and tell you that you can only make a 4% profit.
Correct. So, well, let's see. I hope it's for the better, but you just don't want too much oversight and too much overstep.
Oh, you don't want any
again,
oversight.
I would sit there and say that anyone that's worried about this, you should watch what the town government is doing and see what broad powers they're giving them.
Right. So, they're going to be, it should be a televised meeting.
And to be honest
open
with you,
to the
that's on
public.
both sides of the issue. Should be
Oh,
watching this.
absolutely. I agree. But, the mobile home park, the first word you got right there is mobile. They can pick it up and move. And that's what I would tell them to do. Right out the door, baby. Hook it up and go. Anyway, thank you for your call.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye. How about that? Yeah, just pick it up and move. You don't like it. You don't like it. You don't like what you don't like the grocery store. Go to a different grocery store.
I do believe. I mean, look, landlords can control if you want to look at it from one other way. If you want to up the rents,
Sure.
then you can control, I guess, what clientele that you're going to be renting to, right?
Well, kind
So
of.
then that puts, if you don't have some fair rents in the towns that you live in, then
Well,
what
wait
are
a
you
sec.
going to have? More people living on the streets?
Who defines fair rent? It doesn't. You sell.
think the market
wait a
defines
second.
that.
All right. Well, then let the market run.
think the market
Because
does.
when it comes to selling houses, how come everybody's not selling their house for $100,000? Why are they trying to get the most for it?
You get what the market's around.
Right. So once again, what the market
But
bears
is
around
that
here.
what is, again, I don't know much about the commission, so.
Okay.
is that
I don't
what-
either.
Is that what the commission's there for, so that if the fair market rent, let's just say the fair market rent's $1,200, okay, for a two-bedroom
Yep.
apartment, and the
No
landlord
utilities.
comes in and buys the place and says, no, I want to raise everything to $1,500. Now, I do agree, the landlord bought the building, might
Well,
have more expenses on what he, and I
Well,
think he's got to prove, or she's got to prove that expense that
no,
they have,
don't
right?
have to. Why would they have to prove anything?
Well, if they're jumping up the market
Well,
value, is what
wait
they're
a
doing,
sec- wait
then
a-
I would say then
the-
you got to have something there to help the other people on the other side,
All right.
Jeff.
Now, I understand that. Now, being somebody that's been in the business for years and years and has raised rents over the years just to keep pace with things, I understand that if you walk in, all of a sudden it's a $200 a month rent increase. But I used to, I would send out a letter to the tenants when I was planning to raise rents that your rent is, your target rent is going to be X amount of dollars. And for the next year, every month, we're going to go up $25. Every 3 months, it'll go up $25. And this gives the tenant a chance to adjust to the rental increase. It also gives them an idea of where they're going to be when it stops. So, if it was, they were getting $1,000 and you wanted to go to $200, which is quite a jump, even in my opinion, for me. I can only base it on me. I would have broke that down into 4 months, and it goes up at $50 every 4 months. So at the end of the year, otherwise it's a horrible shock to the system. But I don't think the town government or the state government or anybody's got a say in what you can do. I mean, look at the cost of building materials. Look at what it costs you to go to Home Depot to buy, a flush valve for a toilet. Everything's gotten more expensive.
And I get that. I mean, I think there's different rentals. You owned homes and
Right.
buildings that
Yeah.
you rented, so you have the oil, the gas, the
Maintenance and things like
maintenance of
that.
the
Oh,
building.
yeah.
You get into a trailer park issue,
Yeah.
you don't have those issues.
No,
have-
you own that. You're just paying the land.
Again, I don't know whether or not their water and sewer are hooked in, but let's just say they're not.
What
Okay.
look at the tax increases we've been seeing in the town
Well,
of Wyndham.
I get that.
Okay, and they're a business, and
Yeah.
every now and then
They
the
have to-
businesses really get whacked,
Yeah.
where the homeowners take a kind of a slide on some
Right,
of this
but that
stuff.
didn't happen this past time.
No, it might have happened before that.
It
Instead
did.
of high,
It happened.
yeah.
I will tell you, it happened
Yeah.
3 or 4 times before. This was the first time businesses in this area, their taxes actually went down. But again, just sitting there looking at it, so to me, there's difference of fair rent in different markets.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
wouldn't put a mobile home park in the same thing.
Oh,
that what
no,
you
it's
own.
apartment buildings. No,
Okay,
but when,
because again, all you have that I know of, unless you're paying the water and sewer, and those things go up, then your rents go up.
oh yeah,
following
no,
that. I get
right.
that.
Whatever
But
utilities
it's the
you have to
upkeep
pay.
of your roads. It's the upkeep
Oh,
if you
absolutely.
have sidewalks. It's the plowing of the roads and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know. So I get that.
and
piece of
everything's
it,
got more and more expensive, and it's tough. It
but
really
when
is.
When you see a rent go up $200, $300 in an area where you're not talking about buildings.
Yeah, just a
It's
land lease.
rental on a piece of property. Where is that fairness to the people that are
Well,
there?
okay.
Just because the guy owns the property
right.
and says, "I want more."
Let's look at it this way. You know what? We're giving everybody eviction notices at that piece of property.
Well, I
Oh,
always
wait
wondered,
a second.
maybe that's what they're up to. Is
Well-
they think that maybe we can up it so much these people move out. Is there a reason? Maybe the airport wants to expand and they think it's going to be prime land for it.
It very well could be,
you
or
know, you
or,
wonder.
or they want all these people gone and they want to build a housing complex.
Yeah.
Things
that could
like
be
that.
too.
Oh yeah, so there are a lot of things that go into why it went up, and I mean, we're talking about the.
But
we're
is that
not,
where a fair rent commission could talk about at
Yeah,
that
no,
point?
I don't think they have anything. They could say, okay,
I didn't
if
realize
they submit
I didn't realize they would have the power. And I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
That some commission would have the power to tell a landlord yay or nay.
well, that's
I think
that's why
I
you
thought
go.
they were always that commission that could be able to talk to the landlord versus the tenant over an issue and try to come to a compromise.
All right. That would be fine too. But once again, they're a commission. They're not necessarily town employees. I say take them to court and sue them.
Yeah. Well,
I would-
speaking of
I-
that, before we get sued, we have to
No,
pay
we're
our
not gonna
bills.
get
so
sued. We pay our
need to take
bills.
a break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the Republic Forum. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tom.
Yeah, you still here. Imagine that.
Yep,
My
yep,
goodness.
haven't
no,
left yet.
No golf swing. One of these days we got to go up to the Wyndham Golf Course here and do the show while we're hitting a bucket of balls.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
I still want to do that. It's the election time. What are we, a year away from being for the mayor and stuff, right?
Sure.
So when we get closer to the fall, maybe we can invite them all and have them all stand out there.
So-
with these certain
oh,
signs
that's right.
and
That's
see
right.
if they can catch the golf balls, and the one that gets the golf ball
Well,
gets to run for mayor.
Yeah, we could We could assign a dollar value to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time they get hit by a golf ball, they could get an extra $10.
There you go.
Or something like that for their campaign. I'd go up there and whack a bucket of balls at somebody.
So we were talking about the fair housing. So I get home yesterday and I start looking up some stuff. And again, on Willimantic Today, you don't see it in the Chronicle right away all the time, but Willimantic Fire Department is seeking a qualified applicant. Now, not for a fire person.
Right.
They're looking for a fire social worker.
Yeah.
Okay, full-time position. My understanding is that job's going to be somewhere around the $56,000 to $68,000.
Isn't that the Red Cross? I
Okay.
mean, why are we wasting money?
Well,
We
there
talk-
are,
we
there
talk
are a
about
lot of different
taxes and-
agencies in this town
Oh, absolutely.
that do this type of work.
I agree.
Why are we looking to hire somebody?
Because all we do is grow the government.
This is the problem. We just got out of people screaming
About tax
about
increase.
their tax increase.
And here we
Okay?
go. It's the idiots that sit on these town council or your board of, selectmen?
Well, I think that there is, again, it's the Willimantic Taxing District, right, would be the one that would be looking at this.
Sure. Well, we've got the
But
paid
I'm
fire
just
department.
all I'm saying because you got the paid fire department. Now, whether or not that has to go through the board, I don't know. But I did read something that somebody on the board was trying to push this town-wide at first and was upset that this is being put into this position. Only thing I can say is, look, you haven't been 6 months out since you raised taxes on this town.
Oh, no, and we're adding
And now you
people.
want to put another position, whether it's in Willimantic or a town position,
Yeah.
that to be quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, you have a lot of nonprofit groups, you have a lot of social worker groups, you have state social
all
worker
kinds of
groups.
stuff.
Why in the world do we need one here at this
We
town?
don't.
We're not Hartford.
No.
This
no.
isn't New Britain.
Nope.
I mean, this is not, guys, this is not a city.
No, it isn't. It
Okay?
isn't.
It's a suburb. Look at it. We're not that big.
No, and I understand, if somebody has a fire, they need services and they need some help. But, like you said, all the other agencies are going to step in and take care of that.
Again, it's not for a fire, all the fire. It's for somebody that basically wants help dealing with what programs we already got here in town.
Yep.
Okay? And to help out, I guess, with different organizations when things
Yeah,
happen.
that sounds kind of silly because I would expect the Red Cross to come in like they do and orchestrate and do everything like that to make sure people are going to the right directions.
If we had, I guess, 75, 100,000 people living in our town, maybe there's a need for this.
Yeah.
But again, we have so many different social service programs around here, and a lot of them do a good job.
Oh,
And why are we trying to take that over, to be honest with you, with putting another strain on the taxpayer in this town?
right. Well, the other thing too is we've
I'm
got
not saying the position's not a good position, but I think we have it in other places that
Correct.
that's helped.
Well, we don't need duplication, triplication, and all this kind of thing of certain, a service like that. And
It
and
just
it's
brings
not-
me back, and it's not the same thing, but it brings me back. We had a YMCA in town.
Yes.
Certain people didn't like who was running the YMCA back then. We had a certain first selectman that didn't care who was running it, so they went after the programs. We set up a rec department. At that time, we didn't have a complete full, but we had a rec department that came in, took over the basketball programs, took over this program that were already being run by
the
that group,
YMCA.
and we ran them out of business.
Yep.
To be honest with you.
Yep. So it could be all
So
taxpayer funded.
Why are we?
Well, is that what the town's trying to do with the landlords with their fair rent commission? Is that something they're looking at? Want to run people out of town? Want to, make Willimantic Housing Authority the landlord in the town of Wyndham? Who knows? There's something going
It
on.
just bothers me that they're even looking at starting another position in this town when the taxes are high enough.
Yep.
And again, we just got through the part where they raised the taxes a lot on people, and now we're not talking about trying to keep the taxes down, because this is a way. How are they going to cover the $58,000 to $60,000?
They're going to knock
thing
on.
here?
They're going to knock
Knock
your
on the
door.
door again.
Yeah, they're going to knock on
Okay,
your door.
and
Stick their hand in your pocket.
yeah. So I guess if it's, I don't live in Willimantic anymore, so I guess it's a fire district's question. But I
Quite
would
possibly.
just question for the people that I know that live in town and complain. Here's another piece that you got to go to these meetings.
Oh,
and you got to
absolutely.
tell these people that you're electing. You might not have voted for them, but they were there to stop.
Yep. Oh,
At this point, there's
absolutely.
no need for a position like this.
Absolutely.
At this point.
I agree. So, no, you're right. And all this does is, so now you've got this position, another 50, and granted it's not allowed if you own a lot of apartment buildings, but say that adds another $2 a month on something on and on. So, every time they go up on something, it goes up on other people. And I don't know why they don't seem to understand that. When the cost of diesel fuel goes up, your garbage collection goes up on your fuel surcharge.
And I get it. Maybe the other look was here is that there's been a couple of people that have retired out of the town side. Okay, and maybe they're thinking that they were going to use that money. But if this is not a town wide program, then basically it's Willimantic. You can't use that money towards that.
Well,
it's a town, and
if they,
again, the fire district, it's not a city, it's a fire district, is a difference.
Well, if they retired, can we do without the position?
Well,
I
I think
we
one
should-
of the positions
I-
of one of them that retired, the answer is yes.
All right, so there's a savings to the taxpayer.
Yeah, it's probably a good $70,000
Yeah.
savings, if not
Yeah,
more.
it's so a lot of these towns, especially like Wyndham here, if they find $70,000, the first thing they want to do is spend it.
Yeah,
Instead of
it's
giving
not. It's not looking at reducing the taxes.
No, absolutely
It's
not.
what position can we put in now
Right,
to cover that
or-
money, and then
or-
say
or-
to the taxpayer, "Hey, we can put this in now because we had somebody retire, so we're not going to fill that position. We're going to use this money." That's how they do their business.
No, absolutely. It's a lot of it's sleight of hand and not necessarily necessary, just growing government.
But if this is just in the fire district of Willimantic, the people of Willimantic are going to be the ones that are going to have to watch
pay.
this
Yeah.
because, again, Board of Finance has nothing to do with this area.
Correct.
Okay, so if they're adding a new position, which I always sit there and say, Willimantic does not have one person on their payroll because there is no checkbook called Willimantic.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
the
know.
town of Wyndham.
There should be some kind of financial control over.
Money gets swapped in and out to
Oh,
pay people from different ways of how they do taxes, but we are the town of Wyndham.
What they call budget transfers.
Yep.
Yep. From this line item to that line item.
But if it's really needed, Jeff,
oh,
it's
listen.
probably needed town-wide, so why are they just looking at one area? But I don't think that the position is needed at this point. You can, I guess you can back up any position with anything you want to put in at this point. But again, I'm going to go back.
Could it
We, as taxpayers, had enough of taxes going up this past time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Going up $200 is different than going up $1,200, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600.
Oh, absolutely. And that's
There
a
is
year.
no need for you to looking at new positions at this point, not for a little while until things settle down and figure out
So,
what the taxpayer can actually afford.
Just to work off of what you just said, if your property taxes went up $1,200, that's $100 a month.
Yeah.
Now they're going to tell a landlord you can't go up $100 a month. And things like that. When your taxes just went up like that, these people need to
I
pay that bill.
Look, I think that's all part of fair rent.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well-
So you look at what the tax increase was. If your water bills went up, your electricity, which all of that has gone up.
Sure.
So if the landlord is paying all of that,
Yeah.
not the
You-
tenant. There's a
no.
lot of tenants that pay their water, their heat, and electricity bills.
No, not water and sewer. That's usually the landlord's responsibility. And we've seen some drastic increases in that over the past
So
years.
that's an area that you have a right as a landlord to put that on to the renter. So that's part of business. I get that.
Absolutely. There.
But don't use it. If the increase is $100 to you as the landlord,
Well,
doesn't mean you increase to the person $300 or you make $200 more off of them. That's not fair.
Well, I kind of agree with you there. Yeah, no, I mean, you can recoup your cost, and I would say, yeah, you add a little bit on to it just to take care of all the, bookwork and that type of thing that goes on and on. So, landlords have a lot of responsibilities. Look, insurance, we've talked about how insurance rates have gone up. Nobody wants to insure these big buildings anymore. I mean, you've got two buildings and you're paying $9,000 a year to insure two buildings. I mean, that's a lot of money. And then your taxes are $11,000, $12,000, on it. It just goes. And the other thing, too, is, who gives anybody a right or the town has any kind of right to go in and look at your, what you're making for a profit. I mean, they send out this stuff for the state of Connecticut for you to fill out, and it's a hogwash. They have no business being there. It's like telling you who you can invest in, what stocks and bonds you can buy, and things like that. No. So anyway, that's me with that. And hey, I'm not sure if I'm going to be here next week.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That means I can have some good person on the show to talk to.
Well, and I've already got that person all scheduled
lined up for me,
you.
huh?
Yes,
I
I
shoulda known
do.
that.
I'm never sure whether you're actually going to make it here or not. So, it could be a good golf day. So I was looking at scheduling Chris Reddy to come up and spend some time.
It's the one that's running for state senator?
Correct.
Okay.
So for Connecticut state senator, and I was looking to have him come on.
Well, I guess we'll have him on if he can get here.
Absolutely, he can get here. So it would be interesting to hear him talk. You know, we know a lot of the incumbents and where they are, and it's nice to hear from the new people exactly what they're thinking, because the incumbents, they have a track record. So, you know, I think that's important. And, you know, Connecticut does need a change. Did you see the picture in the paper about the bear climbing over the fence at the governor's mansion?
I saw that.
Yeah, I did. That was pretty good.
Unexpected visitor.
Yes, I know if he ate the governor, he'd probably be sick. We'd have to.
Who? The governor would be sick?
No, the bear. We'd have to pump his stomach or do something like that. You know.
But, you know, I got to love you guys. I mean,
He'd probably get,
even down south, I'm going to say this to you. You know, Connecticut has always gotten a rap about politics up here. Even down there, they actually know who our governor is.
Oh, sure.
Okay? They actually gave this state a lot of credit. The business guys down there said that this governor has turned around on the deficits and what this government owes, especially in their pensions, because he has done a good job over the past. And I still go back to Malloy of doing what they did to shore up of what debt they had to pay. Connecticut's not listed as one of the big problem children anymore. These Republicans down there said you've got a governor that I guess isn't completely liberal.
Well, no, that's wait a second.
Which he's
wait
not,
a second.
Because he does feel the Democrats sometimes.
Well, the other thing too is you got to remember, being a Republican, we watch the dollars and cents. We're numbers.
Well, that's what these
we're
guys...
bean counters, and to your point with the pensions, they have been doing better with the pensions. I mean, they're not gone, they're not fully funded, but they're getting there.
No, the fully funded is very close to being what at the percentage rate means fully funded in the state.
Yep.
The ratio of the debt that the state has gone down. Where we used to be in the top 5, we're not anywhere close to that anymore.
Okay, we're in
but
top
again,
15.
that's.
That's
always,
okay.
Yeah, you always want to talk about that. Here's a Democratic governor that's done a pretty good job. You might not like everything he does. Neither would I if it was a Republican. But give a little bit of credit that the government has actually taken steps to shore that up. Well, and it's nice to hear that from people down south.
And that
they actually see that.
And believe me, are we paying for it?
Yeah. And then the other piece they brought up was about the people that are retired, that you have brought it down to make it easier for people to stay up here by not taxing some of their retirement things in the state.
Oh.
I mean, all of that, people, it's remarkable to hear other people from other states starting to talk about Connecticut in a different light than what it was.
Well, hopefully it'll get a whole lot better. Whether it's a Republican or Democrat. Oh, jeez. Believe me, I'd like to move out and take
you could move out any day you wanted to.
Yeah,
you love it around here.
Nah, I'm kind of.
You love the 4 seasons. You like.
I do like the 4 seasons. I do. I don't like the taxes. I don't like.
Happy anniversary to my wife. 41 years
today.
No, this was.
You were playing golf
Tuesday, and I was playing golf in Florida, but I did call her on FaceTime. But I came home. I'm not dumb. I got off the airplane yesterday, made sure I stopped to get the flowers. I bought a beautiful card.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I left the card at the store.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, you can't make this up. This is Tom.
Yep.
But I am taking her away for the weekend because if I don't, I'm in trouble.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm sure she understands. I'm sure she's happy.
Oh, I probably gave her a good present by not being here on her
There
anniversary.
You go. I mean, she was probably out with the girls or
never know.
Or her boyfriend and having a grand old time. Right, yeah.
She was happy to see me, according to her.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. 41 years. Well, congratulations. That's a long time.
I don't know what
I'm not even that old.
No, you're not. No, nowhere close.
Nowhere close.
No.
Yep. I've been married off and on for the past 41 years. But anyway, that's the way it goes. So Kamala Harris with Brett Baer.
With who?
Brett Baer, the Fox News.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The beer got me wrong. I thought you said beer.
Okay, we know what you're thinking about already.
Watching it, he might have been drinking before, yeah.
Yeah, no. You know what? And I listen to it. I don't necessarily watch, because it's easier for me to listen while I'm doing things. And I've listened to, other speeches she's done and things. And I have a real problem trying to get answers. When she gives a question,
Look, it's a politician. Most of them know how to skirt around giving you as little information as what you can. They both do it. I mean, you can't sit here and tell me as a Trump supporter that Trump is giving you everything for every answer. My God, the guy danced for 30 minutes the other night.
Oh, geez, there were medical issues going on. That's why it was shut down. You guys got your head so far up your backside.
I'm going to dance during the medical issue.
Hey,
look, Jeff,
they were in
it's
the
not,
surprise.
I just used that.
Order.
There is every time the guy gets asked a tough question. It was done the other day. I'm trying to remember what commission that he went to.
You can't
But
remember.
it was a reporter that came from a more conservative outlet, and he's sitting there with him, and then because he asked him a question, and Trump didn't like the question, he came back at the guy and basically he doesn't like anybody that questions him. That's the first thing.
Well, you could say that about
doesn't like it at all.
Joe, our non-existent president.
They don't sit there and say they want to do away with the news media. They don't sit there and say that. This guy does. He doesn't. Look, if you can't see through the red tape what's going on here, there's a problem. And I'm not saying, Camilla, you know it. I'm not saying she's the right choice, but come on, guys. There's something completely wrong with what's going on here today.
Oh, I'll agree with you.
Okay, to sit there and say that you might use the National Guard because of something called the what was the word they used? The in power, which I don't know what that actually means, but it talks about.
I don't think I think you're lost.
No, there's something. I'm trying to remember what he quoted, but he was saying that we have to put away the people, and it's called the inner power or something. It's the politicians that don't believe in what he's believing in.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay? And if you listen to his speeches, every time he talks, it's about, you're talking about taking things, and this is a fight for our democracy?
Absolutely.
Everything that he's talking about is taking away your democracy.
No, it is not. Where's your electric car?
The free right for you and I to talk about what we're talking.
He's never going to take that away from us.
He's okay, Jeff, with you and I talking like this, as long as we're not talking about him.
Oh, we can talk about him, but it's all right. But he's not telling you to drive an electric car. He's not shutting down oil exploration.
Did I say that all his policies were wrong?
He's not talking about raising taxes, going after your 401ks,
No.
multiple millionaire taxes on people. No, he doesn't talk that. And
he doesn't.
the chameleon does,
anything.
Kamala.
He doesn't even know what he's going to do. If you listen to him, he's got no plan for nothing except that I'm going to cut the tariffs. But the last time he cut the tariffs,
you got
cost jobs all over this country.
Yeah, and Kamala and Joe, they're funding the Taliban and Iran.
Let me ask you this question, since you brought up the other guy too. What about the 100 or so Republicans that were standing up for her yesterday, with her, that were on both President Bush's teams, people that were on Trump's teams last time, people that were on Reagan's team last time, that were all standing up there saying that this guy is dangerous, and the only reason why we're here is to save our democracy. What do you sit there and say about that?
They all got paid off.
They all got paid off.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're not real Republicans, right?
Correct.
Because they're not Trumpsters.
Well, no, they're not real Republicans.
You don't have a Republican Party anymore. You have a Trump Party.
No, you have a Republican
Trump Party.
No, you don't.
This is not a Republican Party.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
In your states, I believe
You'll
you have them.
know when we win in November.
I think the guy that told me.
I tell you what, we're going to cut the chair right out from under you.
Here's a business guy down in Florida telling me this. Now, he comes from Minnesota.
Back with all these great stories.
Yeah, because it was actually pretty good listening to these guys this time. I was amazed. But here's a guy that came from Minnesota, doesn't like the governor, which is the one that's running for vice president. right? Okay, doesn't like him at all.
Minnesota? Oh, whites.
Okay, so then you look at that issue there. But what he told me was, this is his prediction. Trump will take Florida. There's no doubt about it.
Sure.
There'll be 3 other states that people are going to be surprised because if
He's going to take them too.
that you're going to find out that he will lose those 3 states. And he says the reason why is because he knows a lot of people that even answered the polls. But because when they're asked these questions over a phone with certain family members sitting by, they answer them a certain way.
Sure.
But he also knows they're not voting for him.
No, he doesn't know.
Okay? And he says you're
doesn't
going to
know
be very
squat.
surprised over the women that are the Republicans that are going to go the other way because of what's happening. So he says, don't be surprised. He says, when you see these polls, because they were wrong the first time that Trump ran. He says this time he's predicting it the other way. Don't be surprised if the other way around actually beats him more than what people think. And that's what he thinks.
I think the polls are very
But
close,
again,
and
this is
he's
a guy
got a
that
lot
is
more
voting
traction.
for Trump, but he's sitting there talking about different areas that he does business in.
Yeah,
And we'll see what happens.
Oh
but,
no, we will see what happens, and then you'll have to pay me the $100.
You know?
You know, but and
I paid you before.
and I know you've paid me. I'm
And you
usually
cheated
always
back
right.
then because you put weights in your
No. See, a typical Democrat
No, I
making
saw
up
the weights after they
excuses,
fell out.
making
I
excuses.
think Mark Doyle was here that day when he saw them fall out.
No.
You saw a lot more than that.
But it's still scarred. But
He is. You don't see him walking the streets anymore.
No.
I scarred him for life.
you scarred. You don't see a lot of people walking the streets anymore. That's something that's getting dangerous to do, even out here, especially after dark. I mean, granted, our police, somebody's buzzing.
Somebody's calling me from New York. I can't
so-
donate any more money. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's something. How many emails and
I get. I'm not. I made a donation.
Yep.
To something,
Yep.
and I probably get 7 to 8 times a day
Yep.
different people from that same organization.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I sent back to him. I said, "Look, I donated to you once.
Yep.
Okay, stop
Yes.
because you're starting to really
Annoy me.
tick me off."
It is.
And I'm sitting there going,
You know,
don't you think that could be either I'm not going to buy your product or I'm not going to vote for you if you keep doing it?
Correct.
It's amazing.
Oh.
And they just keep it up.
Oh yeah. I've been editing them all to junk.
Well,
so
mine
when they
just-
come in,
mine goes
go right
faster.
to
It
junk.
goes right to delete.
Yeah. I just send them off to junk.
But it's
because then I
amazing.
just delete everything.
I get those are text.
Yep.
Emails
Or even
are
worse.
just worse. I mean,
Yeah, wake
50,
up in the
60 of them a day from different
you wake up in the
organizations.
morning and it's already loaded. But anyway, till next week, we're going to say good night and God bless.